Welcome to another episode of Legends and Lessons podcast. We are here with our guest, Julio Lucio. Thanks for coming on, Julio.
Hey, thank you for inviting me and having me.
Love it. We'll tell the audience a little bit about you and your background and who you are so they can get to know you a little bit.
All right. Well, my name is Julio Lucio. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm an entrepreneur out here. I currently own a trucking business. I'm going to get into a little bit of real estate. I was born and raised here. My parents are first generation. My parents are Mexicans that are, American citizens. I'm first generation here in Dallas.
Nice.
Like I said, I was born and raised here, and just a cool, chill guy.
I love it. Tell me, I swear everybody in the U.S. is moving to Texas, but also it seems like everyone's moving to Dallas. What is it? Why is everybody coming here? What's so great about Dallas? I know why I love it, but what do you think?
I mean, that's something that I would love to know the answer to as well. But I don't know. I mean, I can say that, being born and raised here, there's always been opportunity here. And apart from that, even when, you hear about the boogeyman outside of Texas, the recessions or the stock market, et cetera, here, for some reason, just in my eyes, things always seem to move regardless. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what's going on outside of Texas. Texas seems to just keep doing its thing. It keeps moving. That's the only thing that I can think of, as to why so many people are coming in and continue to come in. I always tell my friends this. I can recall back to 2008, 2009. My brother did something very similar to what I'm doing, and I remember, as I graduated in 2009.
Okay,
and I can recall the people being afraid of what was going on. Right in 2008, 2009, there was a recession in the United States, and people were losing their jobs, et cetera, et cetera. There's this scare going around, but not in Texas. I seen my brother grow a business, be successful at it, and my friends around me continue to move in a positive direction, and even up until today, 2025, and I feel like Texas has continued to do the same thing. It's a continuous increase. We continuously move our bar in a positive direction.
Okay, so maybe, I don't know, somehow sheltered from whatever the rest of the country's doing.
For some reason.
Because you told me that during COVID, it was almost like COVID
you
didn't even exist
yes.
here. Like people, it was just business as usual.
It just continued. Same conversation, right? COVID, another scare in our generation that we got to experience and see, and just. Things just kept moving, for in my business, in my trucking business, it continued to move, and for everyone else, I just had a conversation with a friend of mine a few days ago, and I've heard it, and I can't specifically say outside of Texas, I'm not sure, but I believe so. I believe a lot of people had a great a great experience when it came to business during COVID. But in Texas, I mean, you could have been in the watch industry, the car industry, the transportation industry. I just feel like I seen people go from, being well off to extremely wealthy, in the matter of a year or two.
Wow. Yeah. The land of opportunity is Dallas, Texas.
It might be, man. I'm not sure.
I swear everyone from California is moving to Austin. So, I mean, it's got to be something. Now, we don't talk about Houston. people in Texas, Houston's kind of like that's the black swan. That's off to the side.
Yeah, I mean, I love Houston too. It has a culture. If you're from Texas,
that's true. It's a different culture.
You understand it has a culture, and Houston's done a lot as far as, I guess for me, right? I did music. At one point in my life, I was in music. I tried to be an audio engineer. And Houston is what shaped Texas in general when it comes to music. So they have a culture there. It's a, like you said, it's, you know, it's an interesting place to be, but it definitely shapes Texas, you know.
That's cool. Yeah. So tell me, yeah. So you had a little time in music, and you were kind of producing. Were you like songwriting? Were you singing or rapping?
Yeah. So I did a little bit of everything. You know, produced. I engineered. I also,
that's cool.
You know, believe it or not, you know, rapped.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I tried. You know, I gave it a shot for a few years. I even went to school for it. I guess I was like, if my, you know, artist career doesn't go through, I'll be an audio engineer. I love music. That's my passion. That's what I love.
Nice.
But you know, I just I really love business. I really I'm chasing the money. I'm not, you know, unfortunately, you know, it's not.
Sometimes we got to take a detour to get
the bag and
come back.
So that's what led me into other things in my life. Yeah.
Okay, but at the core, passion's music.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
I love it. Hey, it's never too late. That's great. Awesome. I didn't even realize you had gone to school for it. So you were.
I did. I went for a while, but I didn't graduate. I didn't get a certificate or anything like that.
Yeah.
I actually, and once again, you know, like I said, entrepreneurship has just always been in me, you know, per se. When I was in school, I was like, you know what? I feel like I can just open up my own studio.
Nice.
You know, I got the fundamentals. I understand it. And that's what I did. You know, I had a little bit of money saved up from a job that I was working. I went to a very popular place now, you know, but it wasn't as popular at that time in the Bishop Arts area.
Okay.
And I opened up my own studio there.
What? Yeah. I didn't know this. This is cool. All right,
I did.
Cool.
I opened up my own studio. Financially, it wasn't successful.
Okay.
You know.
But there's other forms of success.
Yeah, you know, I got to meet a lot of people.
Nice.
I got to record a lot of people. You know, and it was fun. Honestly, I mean, it was extremely fun.
Nice.
But once again, you know, I just have an entrepreneurial spirit, and I knew I had to do other things.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about maybe some of the lessons you learned from that and how that helped you at some of the things that you're doing with the trucking business. But tell me really quick, because I in the timeline, I remember you mentioning that you did some boxing as well.
I did, yeah. When I was younger, in my teenage years, I did a little bit of boxing. I don't know, maybe 4 years or so. My life was boxing. So my high school years, you know, I played other sports too, but boxing was what really caught me the most. You know, and same thing. You know, I got to be around great people. One of my friends made it to the Olympics, so I got to kind of experience that a little bit. I seen them go professional, but it was a fun time, and it actually taught me a lot as well. Right, it teaches you how to dedicate yourself to something. You know, how to be strong minded. You know, because it was it's a one-on-one sport, so it's not a team sport.
Yeah,
you know?
You can't say, "Oh, the quarterback messed up." Yeah, so that's why
you know,
we lost.
At the end of the day, it's on you up there, and I think that and it teaches you a lot. It really. It teaches you a lot of, you know, there's pros and cons, you know, because there's a lot of pros and cons to it as well, right? You don't just want to rely on yourself 100%. It's good to take, you know, information or rely on other people as well. It's not a bad thing, but yeah, I mean.
Tell me that. So what would you say is one lesson that you learned in boxing that you applied to your entrepreneurial journey, that you applied to business?
To dedicate yourself, you know, be dedicated. Just be dedicated and be there every day. You know, you have to be there every day. Focus. You know, I think that's one of the things that it really that stuck out to me the most, um, you know, and because like I said, at the end of the day, it's only going to be you up there. You know, it's just you and the other person. You're not gonna have someone that's gonna be able to go in there and throw a punch for you. You know, so
Yep.
And I think that taught me a lot. It really did. It taught me a lot in life, specifically in my on the business side. You know, was to stay dedicated and stay focused.
Tell me, so do you feel like that idea that like I'm the only one there in the ring? I can't blame if I don't win. I can't blame this on my coaches or my this or my that. Like it's only on me. Do you feel like that's a mindset that helped you in business to be like, hey, if I want to succeed in business, it's on me. I gotta stick with it. I gotta put in the reps. I got like you can't point the finger at why somebody else made you unsuccessful, right?
I believe so. You know, someone might have a different opinion, but for me, I believe, I you know that is the case. You know, it's just you up there. You know, if anything goes wrong, or if you know, if for whatever reason you didn't give it that little extra push when you needed that little extra push, you know, it all comes down to the mind. You know, it's a boxing is a big mind game because there's a lot of times where you can say I'm tired, you know, I can't do it, I can't, but the reality is you can. You know, it's your mind is telling me you can't. You know, I had the first time I ever I fought one time in the Golden Gloves, which I didn't win, right? But I remember just training so hard. I trained like I was running like 8 miles a day. I'm not you know, it might sound crazy, but I was probably running like 6 to 8 miles a day.
Wow.
The best shape I've ever been in my life. For some reason, when I got up there, and it was like the first time my family's watching me, everybody's there, right? So it might have been a little bit of that. But I felt so tired. So tired.
Well, cutting weight too takes it out of you.
That might have been the thing too. I cut weight out. I think I was already at weight. But my mind was just telling me to keep cutting. I didn't weigh myself. I just kept cutting. Didn't weigh myself, and then when I actually weighed myself, I was under.
Oh wow!
Like what I was supposed to be. But anyways, apart from that, I felt so tired, and I kept telling my coach, like, when I would come back to the corner, I'm like, I don't know why I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like you're not tired, you know.
Yeah.
Like you've
not.
Trained, you've trained. Yeah. You do it. Like you can't be tired. There's no way you're tired. And when I look back, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't tired. You know, I don't. But it's something that the mind would make you believe. You know,
Okay.
It'll make you believe that you're tired. But in reality, I don't think. If you got to train yourself to really be, you know, focused.
Okay.
You know, you're not tired. You can do the extra round.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's great. I mean, one of the first companies I worked for as I was getting into my entrepreneurial journey was Vivint, a door-to-door company. And the CEO, Todd Peterson, I remember he would say a quote all the time is he would say, tired is a mindset. Yeah. And he would say, I want to die tired. Like this man's addicted to work. He's a workhorse. He loves the grind. But my point is like in a career like that, where you're going out and it's 105 degrees and you're going for months and people are always telling you no, and you're getting chased by dogs and all this stuff. You do that for enough months and the end of the summer comes around and all of a sudden there's people that would start to get quote unquote burnt out or tired or, you know, they kind of start being like, I don't know about all this. And, the one thing that, I mean, he told me that my rookie year, he told me like tired is a mindset. There's no such thing as burnt out unless you think that way. And if you do, you're screwed. But if you just think like, I'm not tired, like it's, you know, almost a David Goggins type of thing, like crazy.
Yeah.
If you go to that level though, and if you just think that way, 100% I agree with you because I always operated under the idea of like my sales season isn't over until say, for example, October. So I'm not going to get tired in August. I don't even have time to think about that because my end date is until way over here. And so I'm going to just keep working at the same pace as them. Yeah. And it's crazy how I was knocking the same amount of doors. I was walking the same amount of miles as those people, but how I never got tired. In fact, as the season went on, I got more energy, but the people around would kind of keep falling off because they would just hear their other teammates talking about, I'm tired, I'm burnt out, and then they put it in their head. It's a mindset. It
is. And you know, same thing for me in my business, you know, there was just so many situations, so many days where you just, you know, I'm done with this. You know, like I can't I don't want to do this another day. You know, you got 100 phone calls coming in. You have 20 employees. Everybody has a different issue, a different problem, and you just have to, you know, just get in that corner and say, all right, let's just one by one. What's next? You know? Like I'm not pulling back. Like I'm moving forward.
I love that. You know what? That is a great description of what entrepreneurship is, especially as a business owner. Sometimes you're just in the corner and the punches are just coming and coming and coming and coming.
And they don't stop.
And you're not going to get out of the corner. Like, it's like you look at the clock, there's a minute left. You're like, okay, I'm here. Right. Exactly. So tell me, do you feel like you have any unique skill or anything that helps you in that kind of situation to be like, the punches are coming, I feel like I'm drowning in all this, like to get through that?
You know, point? To me, I always feel like I want to think that we all have the skill to do what I can do, what you can do. You know, that's just, I don't know. I've always felt that way. Yeah, but I mean, for me, it's just, that's it, man. It's just handling the pressure. You know, whenever the pressure is there, you just, you just move forward. You know, like I said, to me, it's not so much a unique skill. It's just being able to handle the pressure and continue to move, you know, at a, dang, how can I explain? So when my business was, I expanded my business into other states. And it's the first time that I put a manager in place. To run my, you know, my area that I was in, so I could go, you know, start other areas. And I remember him one time, and like I said, this is why I say, to me, it seems like such a normal thing, right? Like we should all be able to do this. But I remember this story because he was so. We had a truck breakdown. We had an employee call in. It was like 6-7 different things that were happening, right? Like to him, he felt like the world was on fire. You know? And he's just watching me. I'm kind of just relaxed. He doesn't know that I'm already, you know, I'm on my phone, I'm getting the tow truck, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? So he's just watching me, but I'm quiet, and he's like, "What are we gonna do? Like, we have this is happening, this is happening." And I'm just on my phone. I'm already getting the tow truck ready. I'm getting this ready. I'm getting that ready. But calmly, you know. And once, in the matter of maybe, you know, those 10, 15 minutes, I like to say I put the fire out, you know. And he's looking at me, and he's like, "How are you able to stay so calm when everything is on fire?" You know. And I don't know. I mean, to me, like I said, it just seems like a normal thing. Maybe that's just from boxing or from the upbringing. I'm not sure, but you know, we go back to when the punches are coming. You just got to learn to stay focused and you know, stay in the hole. You know?
I mean, and let's talk about this because. So I wrestled for a lot of years. I mean, like junior high school. I coached some high school wrestling and all that. And it's not the same as boxing. It's not as violent, but it is a combat sport where you're out there by yourself. And you can't blame anybody else if you lose, right? And one thing that when I would be getting ready, I mean, you see the guy kind of getting ready down the way a little bit, and you're like, okay, I got to kind of put a face on here that my heart's not pounding, even though I'm nervous. I'm sweating and I'm nervous, but I can't show him that, right? So do you feel like that's part of boxing is, hey, I might be scared, I might be nervous, I put a lot of prep into this fight, but I can't show my nerves before the fight even starts, or that's going to give my opponent an up. Do you feel like that helps you in business to kind of be like, the punches are coming, but I'm just going to stay reserved, I'm going to stay calm on the outside?
I think it does, you know, like I said, because when the building's on fire, somebody has to be focused and to stay calm enough to figure out how to get everybody out or turn the fire off, you know? I mean, and I think that's just entrepreneurship and owning a business in general. You know, that's I think that's all it takes. I don't know.
One thing I love about having you as a friend and that I've noticed about you is you have a very strong baseline to where even when you're excited and having a great time, you're not crazy too high, and even when you're going through some low times, you're not crazy low. You keep a good medium ground, which I think is kind of what you're what you're talking about is that it's so important to be able to not get too high with, because entrepreneurship is a roller coaster.
It is ups and downs all the time. Yeah, I mean, and maybe that's just something that entrepreneurship taught me. You know, that this is a roller coaster ride. You know, you can have one year where it's the best year of your life, you know, and then the next year it's you're back to where you started, and then the year after that it's a better year than the best year of your life, you know. So it's like you just learn to ride it, you know. And you know, I don't know. I have a bit of a spirit of a hippie too, you know. Like I just I don't know. You got to learn sometimes just to not let all that stuff stress you out, you know. You just have to ride the wave. I think that's where the hippie thing, you know, you ride the wave, man, and you just go with it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you've been telling me this. So you've been traveling a little bit more recently. This is kind of a shift in gears here, but you were just hanging out. I saw on your story you're out in Cabo. You've been traveling around a little bit more. So you're at a place in your business journey where you've grinded, you've put in a lot of work. It's allowed you to be able to have a little breathing room and take your foot off the pedal while not stressing so much about money while you're kind of gearing up for the next step in things. Do you have any like favorite place that you've traveled in the last little bit?
Favorite place, that's tough because every place has been an experience, you know. I mean, so I do have me and my girlfriend actually have a favorite place, which is Miami. You know, it's kind of a cliche here in the States, but
Miami's great.
But we love it, you know, and there's a whole story to that, but we love Miami. But I would have to say Ibiza is maybe my second place that I really, really enjoyed. I have even though I'm the calmest person you may ever meet, I have like a spirit that loves music. You know, I love, even though you don't see me dancing or anything, like I just love to be in that realm, that world, you know, with music, loud music, people having fun. Like it's just that's what really touches my spirit.
I love it. Yeah, I'm wearing my those on YouTube can see, but I'm wearing my Ibiza shirt. That was let's see. It was actually almost a year ago we went.
And you didn't even know.
Last May.
It's cool that you wore it because that's you know.
I didn't know. Yeah, I mean, I started looking at little rave videos, little EDM, little house music stuff when I was like in, I don't know, high school, like 15 years old or whatever. And I heard this Ibiza, it's this magical land across the ocean where there's these strobe lights and these crazy, but I had never really planned to go there. So I'm glad we did go last year because it was, I mean, everything from, you know, clubs not closing until 5, 6 in the morning, which you don't get a lot of in the US, to beaches, to which anyone listening to this, we went a little bit earlier in the year where it was a little still chilly. So maybe we went in May. Maybe you go like July, it might be a little warmer to swim more. But anyway, yeah, that was really a blast. Spain in general, we hit Barcelona.
Spain's really cool.
Beautiful. The food, the engineering. I never knew Spain had, I mean, when you hear engineering, I think like Germany, like the rigid Volkswagen, BMW people. I don't think of Spain as like a engineering place, but they had so many amazing buildings, and they were talking on those tours about all the architectural engineers of history that were so impactful there.
Yeah, it's you know, it's super interesting because even when I go to, you know, apart from Cabo, we also went to Monterrey.
This is recently.
Recently, yeah, just a few days. Well, actually, I just got in yesterday.
Nice.
From Monterrey.
Nice.
So I got to spend a little bit there. But then even apart from Monterrey, Mexico City, you go to these places and you see the how do I say it? Like you know, what Spain brought to these places. You know what I don't know. I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but you know, and they were influential. You know, it's a very influential place. So yeah, for us to get to see that and experience it at home base was very interesting.
That's cool. So you kind of saw the impact that Spain had brought over when they did all the colonization and everything, however many hundred years ago. But was it like are you talking about the architecture looks similar? Or are you talking about
the architecture, the setup. you know, it's all there. You know, it was almost like being in Spain for a short amount of time, depending on where you are, right? But some of these places had a big influence, and you can see it.
Huh.
Yep.
That's cool. Wow. Yeah, I've been to the vacation spots in Mexico. I feel like I've been all over the world. I've been this year. Let's see, what are we in the middle of March now? And I have been to probably 6 or 7 countries this year. And for some reason, Mexico, I've been to Cabo and I've been to the Cancun, you know, that peninsula.
Yep,
I haven't really been. I
nice
guess I went to
places.
Mexicali like once for like a day, but I haven't really been to the heart of Mexico. I feel like I haven't been down there much.
And
Oh, actually, where's Sayulita? Is that?
Celulita.
I think that's over by on the Cabo side. I think. Yeah, it's on that West Coast somewhere. Anyway, I'm saying the touristy places.
Yeah,
I haven't been
No,
to
I get
Mexico
it.
City, all those.
And that's new for me too, and it's been something that I've been wanting to experience, you know, as well. Being, you know, that my family's from Mexico, I've been wanting to see a lot of these places, and honestly, it's very eye opening, and it's every place we went to, I'm like, wow, like I would have never thought this is what Mexico was.
Really? Did you? So where in Mexico are your parents from? If
So
you don't mind me
my
asking?
dad's from Aguascalientes, which is nice. It's beautiful too, and I would say a lot of architecture there too, as well. As you can see this you know you can see Spain you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
you can
Yeah.
see that
The
influence.
European influence. Yeah.
European influence. That's the word. So my dad's from Aguascalientes, and my mom is from Coahuila, which is more of a border town,
Okay.
and that's very different. You know, there's maybe one restaurant there that I
Okay.
went to. Well, there's few. You know, there's a corner truck stands and things like that you can eat at, but I mean, maybe 1 or 2 restaurants that you can go to, and we have a joke there. There's a monument there that you can see.
Okay.
You know, it's very famous
Okay.
where my mom's
Uh-oh.
from.
What is it?
It's the coal mine.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
they used to have this huge. It looks like it's a huge chimney
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, all the stuff from the coal mines used to come out of,
Ah.
and that's what you have to look forward to.
That's your peak in
That's-
life is you get to work in the mine.
Yeah,
Dang, that what a grind. Yeah, I have so much appreciation. I mean, my ancestors came over from you know, Denmark and England and Scotland and all that. But I'm talking like 200, 300 years ago. So I don't have that raw experience of feeling what it feels like to have my actual parents come from a different country.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a different level of appreciation that you have from where
Really
they
is,
came
yeah.
from, and like the life that they you know, that they sacrificed for you to come here. Tell me this, because I remember you telling me now you're getting to travel more, you're getting to see all these cool places and appreciate them. But for so many years of your entrepreneurial journey, for like a decade or even more, you were so in the grind that you didn't really get to do all that just
Yeah.
because you were so involved in it. I mean, I think that's a lot of things that's something that not a lot of people appreciate or realize is that you get to travel all these places. Like you just said, just got off a trip, you get to experience Europe and Mexico and all these places, but a lot of people don't realize the sacrifice that it takes for the first decade to get to that point, all the hard things and the vacations you had to skip in order to get to that place.
And you know, to me, I like to just think of it as we all have a different path in life, and we all want different things, and there is no wrong or right. I just want to start off with that. But for me, yeah, I mean, I started my trucking business at 20. I want to say 21, but really got into it around like 23. I always had a 10-year plan.
Okay, cool.
For whatever reason, I don't know. Growing up, you always hear, you know, have a plan, set it up, right? So my plan was 10 years, and I would tell my friends that all the time. So yeah, you know, in those 10 years, I skipped out on a lot. You know, I didn't go. When my friends were traveling and going here and going there, I was home working, trying to build. You know, and yeah, you miss out on a lot. But I had a purpose, you know, and my purpose was to grow my business, and like I said, that's why I start off with I believe there is no wrong or right in what it is that you want to do, but if you really want to grow a business and you really want to focus in that world, it's you have to put a lot to the side. You know,
Yeah.
you have to I don't know if it's you want to look towards the future, uh, but you do just if your friends are in Cancun this summer, you might not be in Cancun.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna be at
Sorry, I
home.
gotta work 7 days a week.
And grinding it out.
I love it. Tell me, when you're as you went through the highs and the lows and you built it into a successful business, did you feel like you had any particular big, like really memorable down points or failures or things that happened to you that were really low points that you really learned strong lessons from and then were able to bounce back from?
Yeah, I think for me it was time. Because at one point in my career, um, my business was my only focus. That's it. There's nothing else. We're growing this. We're gonna make X amount of dollars. This is it. This is the dream.
Mm-hmm.
But then let's just say maybe 7 years into it, I've missed out on birthdays. I've missed out on weddings. I've missed out on vacations. Everything.
100%.
And then one day I could, at one point I grew my business outside of the States. We were in Kansas. We were in Nebraska. And I remember one day coming back home and seeing my parents, and they looked older, visibly.
So all of a sudden one day, wait, there's some gray hair in there.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, like I'm really like missing out on time. I'm really missing out on moments. And I think for me now, that is something that I you know, re- what was the question, was regret, or what is
Yeah, it's just if there was a low point that you
yeah,
had
low
in your
point.
business.
So I think the low point was just realizing that I missed out on a lot of those moments. You get a FaceTime and it's your mom's birthday, and she's, everybody but you is there celebrating, that birthday, and you don't get that back.
Mhm.
Luckily, like we were successful, and now I'm able to give that time back, but you don't get those things back.
Yeah.
And I would say for me, those were some of my lower moments, but
Yeah.
luckily they worked out, and the people that I didn't get to spend that time with are still here. But the story isn't the same for everybody. So
That's 100% true. And I appreciate you being raw about that because I think there's even people that realize the price that it takes to be successful, build a successful business, be an entrepreneur. I mean, you're saying luckily you got there. I want to give you credit and not even say luckily. I mean, it's because you were willing to sacrifice those things that you were able to get to that point. And now, if you wanted to take your mom on a vacation to wherever, you probably could and not even worry about it. But it did take the sacrifice of I had to miss some birthdays, I had to miss some weddings, and I have to.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that a lot of people they're not willing to sacrifice that in the early days to be able to get the payoff in the end, right? Or
I
maybe,
agree.
yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, like I said, because even going back to when seeing your friends all book a trip, and they're like, "Why aren't you coming?" Oh, because I'm focused. I'm trying to build, and they don't understand it. They'll give you the whole like, "Oh, you have your whole life to work," or you have, whatever. But some people just don't understand that it's what it takes. You have to be here. But once again, my plan was 10 years. So I said, if in 10 years I can do X, X, and X, I will be able to, have more of that time and be more stable to do it.
And it is hard. I completely understand where you're coming from with missing those valuable key life moments. But at the same time, I think that it's so cool that you did that because now you sacrificed 7 years, 5 to 10 years of your life to be able to really build something. But now you're at a place where, because you did it right, because you played it right, because you were able to keep that calm face when the building was burning down. Now, if you want to have the best birthday on the planet, you can. Now you've put yourself ahead. You sacrificed 5 or 10 years, but you put yourself ahead 20 years from what some people will never see. A life that some people will never be able to live. Kind of a thing, right?
But and once again, like, that's why I'm just gonna continue and say it, that there is no no wrong or right, right? You choose your path. You know, it's whatever makes you happy, right? But there are other things in life that, if you work hard enough, you get to experience. You know, like Ibiza
There you go.
or a nice resort in Cabo, right? Um, and there's just levels to life, and where would you like to take it? You know, what would you like to do? Where would you like to be?
I love it.
And that's just always been my concept. I like the nice things. I like the things that cost money. So, you know,
I see the Rolex. I see the Gucci shirt. Come on now. Okay, tell me this then. You could go back and talk to your 20-year-old self. What if you could only give him one piece of advice? What would you tell him? You'd say, "Little Julio." What would you tell him?
That's tough. You know, I would probably, like I said, for me, it would just be try and be there more with your family. You know, try and make more memories. You know, I think that's my thing, because at one point in my life, I was really, really caught up, you know, with work and with. There was just nothing outside of that box. That box is all that mattered.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, for me, it was just, if something were to have happened, you know, what regrets would would have had then, you know?
Yeah.
Just you know, staying on that topic. There was one day that I can recall. My mother got diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer.
Oh wow.
And I remember I was somewhere in Abilene, right? I got offered a contract in Abilene or something like that. I remember it being late, really late. We used to get off at 1, 2 in the morning. It was just craziness. 1, 2 in the morning, working from 6 a.m.
Sheesh.
Right? And I think I got a call from my mother, and I just remember her telling me, like, you know what, just focus, you know, focus on what you got to do. I'm okay. But deep down inside, there was a possibility that she, like I said, you know, that who knows what could have happened. And that's why I said earlier, luckily, like, I'm still able to be here with my family, with my friends. My mother has been 10 years in remission now.
Wow.
Right.
Awesome.
But you just never know. You know, the story could have been different. And then would I have still been happy about my decision? You know? I don't know.
Well, tell me this, because I can tell you have a big heart, and that family and relationships and the people in your life are very important to you. Was there an event that happened? Like, was this an event that caused you to say, from now on, I'm going to make family a priority? Or was there a time or maybe something that happened in your business that made you start to put more focus, of course, still on the business, but put more focus on relationships and people?
No, I think it was a little bit of everything. Okay. You know, lots of, that was one. Different experiences that really, at the end, when you really, you know, sit down and think about it, I mean, what are we gonna leave? You know, what is it that, other than your legacy or your memories, like what are we leaving behind? You know, and maybe that also comes with just being more stable in life financially. You know, my friends always say, "What's your price?" You know, we have a friend that always asks us that. I don't know if you can think of who it is, but what's your price? You know, what's your price on life? When, and once you hit that price, is that enough? Right? And I don't know. Memories for me have just always been a thing. You know, I even though. From time to time, I wear some designer or something, or I have a nice watch or a nice car or whatever. For me, material's never been my thing, right? It's always been memories and making the most of this moment, you know, because I don't know. I'm a strong believer that once that last day hits, the last thing we're gonna get a pack of those memories, you know, that come in right before wherever it is that we're going. So
yeah, you want to make sure it's a cool movie to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that's really powerful. I definitely agree with you. I had some friends that early in my career that started making money, and the first thing they bought was that BMW. The second thing they bought were those $800 pair of shoes, and the third thing they bought, and it's like I don't have a closet that's full of all the crazy stuff, but I promise you, my passport has way more stamps.
Oh yeah,
you know, like the experiences. I 100% agree with you. Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at life. And especially, I think that it's awesome that, I mean, you were only in the business for 5 or 10 years and you really, really made that pivot. I know people that have been in business for 40 years and still only focus on the money.
Yeah.
And their families, you know, their relationships are ruined. They kind of lost the focus of what is the purpose of life. They die tomorrow, and what does their family remember about them?
It's just finding a balance, you know, but then again, there also needs to be a sense of that as well when it comes to owning a business. I feel, you know, you do have to have that energy and that want, you know, and that hunger for more if you want to be successful. I think, but sometimes we just need to find a balance, you know, and say what is enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, where can we say this is where the balance feels good for us, you know?
Tell me this. Is there one person that you feel like in your business career that influenced you the most, that you learned the most from, an important mentor? Or
yeah, I mean, for me, I would have to say it's my father, you know. I always came to him for guidance, you know, whenever I had any decisions that I was going to make, for maybe a good portion of the beginning of my business, you know. I got to see him, you know, take care of the family, doing something very similar, right? My dad owned he had a box truck that he owned, and he just to put it in plain simple words, he sold, you know, he would go and buy tortillas from a factory, and then he would go and sell them to businesses, right?
nice. Okay.
It's simple, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was more like and I maybe my brother as well, because like I said, I seen my brother grow a successful business very similar, right? If he could do it, I can do it, you know. And any guidance that I ever needed, I would ask him, you know, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? Hey, and they weren't always the best, you know.
Sometimes I gave bad advice, a little
you
bit.
know.
Okay.
But for the most part, that was who I would still, you know, come and ask for guidance, you know. So I would have to say my father really was a big impact.
Is there anything specific that you feel like he taught you, or that you learned from watching him, that you feel like changed the trajectory of your business or your journey?
Man,
Any one big lesson that you that kept coming back to you, or anything like that?
well, yeah. So it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? Because I ended up not taking his advice.
Oh, okay. That's when we learn the most.
Yeah, but I learned the most from this advice, you know. And it was when I was trying to expand my business. You know, like I said, I would always come and talk to him, and I'd say, "Hey, so I'm getting these opportunities outside of the States. You know, we'll make X amount. We'll do this. We'll do it like this. What do you think?" Right? And the one thing he told me was sometimes less is more. Right? And I was like, less is more. What does that mean? Like, I want the whole, like, I'm trying to run the whole state if I can, right? I'm trying to run the country. What do you mean less is more?
Let's take over the world.
Like, yeah, you know, let's take over the world. But he's like, less is more. Just know sometimes less is more. Okay, whatever. So I went and I ended up not taking that advice. I expanded my business, and in the end, it turned out that less was more. You know, we were making more money in Dallas than we were making outside. If anything, what we were making, what we were making in Dallas was funneling the other business, you know. So what we were making here, it was keeping everything afloat, you know. And finally, when I brought it back and restructured everything, we had the best years of our, you know, career.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sometimes the simple things, sometimes it's better. Tell me, because you put such a priority on relationships and on people. Has there been anything in your personal relationships that you've learned that's helped your business life at all? I know that there's things that, you've sacrificed some things in relationships to work on the business. Is there any ways that your relationships have helped your business? That could be personal relationships. It could be
Yeah, I
friends,
mean,
anything like that.
100%. When you find solid people, it really helps out. I mean, just finding people that are genuine and that just don't want to be there for a financial purpose, or when you find solid people, it outside of business and in business, it helps it all move.
Tell me, what do you feel like with your employees or your teams? What do you feel like makes them trust you or know that, like, what gives them confidence to know that, hey, if there's a problem, like Julio has it covered? What do you feel like is one of the, what do you feel like?
I think for me, it was always actually learning the job itself, right? Learning it from step 1 to step 10. If there's 10 steps in what it is that I'm doing, I need to know every step from top to bottom.
Okay, so you're very detail oriented
So
with that.
when I would get the call, hey, we have this issue, or hey, there's this problem, I'm able to take, to handle that situation, or to resolve that issue. And that was one thing that I always noticed that would really, capture that person, or that employee, to say, okay, this is somebody that I can trust. This is somebody that I can lean on. He's not just somebody that owns a business that doesn't know
For
what
sure.
the hell is going on.
He got
right?
some MBA degree and he just came
Yeah,
in without
exactly.
like boots
For
on
me,
the
it
ground
was,
experience.
they called me any situation I needed to figure it out. Even when it came to the technical side of what it is that we're doing, to even, our employees are driving our trucks and a truck break down, and I'm like, okay, what is it doing?
Mm-hmm.
And it would always, my girlfriend would always get so, at least sometimes she'd be like, how the hell do you like know just from a sound? Like, I'd be like, what is the
what sound is it making?
what is the truck doing today? Like what is it doing? Is it smoking? Are there any lights on the dash? Oh, there's a bunch of lights on the dash.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it, and you just know what's going on, but it came with experience, and it also came from actually wanting to know what the issue is, so you can resolve the problems a lot quicker.
I feel like I've had a few people on the podcast now that have said that same thing when they're in a leadership role, that what really gets their team to trust them, that makes their team feel inspired by them, is that they know that the person that's above them, so you in this case, it knows all the micro parts that go into it. And I've heard this been talked about, Elon Musk even, that people are blown away by. Elon Musk will go into his Tesla company and he'll know about what's going on with the tires and the windshields, and he'll know about the electric batteries. Yeah. And then he'll go to his rocket ship company and he'll know about the ignition fuels and the different like he knows all the different parts of what go into making the product or the company function. And so the people don't feel disconnected, like, oh, he's just some Harvard guy that showed up and got hired. Like, this is someone that's very, very involved in all the micro parts of the business. So I guess if I'm hearing you correctly, what really helps establish trust between you and your employees and your teams is that they know that you're involved in all the small steps as well. You're with them.
You're with them, because at the end, in my field, if there was, in my fields, you could have a truck that breaks down 2 hours away, and they want to know that they're going to be able to make it back. And, if they get off at 5, they don't want to get off at 10 o'clock because we're still trying to figure out what's going on,
100%.
They want to know that there's somebody there, any issues that they have, and they can be resolved as fast as possible,
That makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah.
Tell me this. So because you mentioned your girlfriend and the funny truck noises, it's making this noise. What do I do? Yeah. Just pivoting to girls really quick. This is a shift in gears and a shift in pace as well. But to mix it up a little bit, what do you feel like is one of the most important lessons that you've learned from your relationship over the years, as far as dealing with people? What has been how has being in a long-term relationship What has that taught you as far as working just with human beings in general, with people?
Yeah, I mean, and like there's just from what I said earlier, if you find somebody solid, you really need to you know invest your time into that person. Whether it's uh, a friend or somebody that you could potentially spend the rest of your life with. Um, who was it? I had a friend that one. I have a friend that's he's not a mobster, but he likes to he kind of gives off that
Okay.
aura.
Okay.
And he said, would you want to ever do your best friend wrong? If you had a best friend, would you ever want to do him wrong or stab him in the back?
Okay.
Most people would probably say no. So he's like, why would you do that to your girl? You know? Why would you do that to somebody that's there for you, that cares for you?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you really have to do your due diligence there, right, to find
Mhm.
somebody that's solid. But if
Mhm.
they're solid, if they really are your friend, right, why would you stab them in the back?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's really the motto.
Okay.
Especially in my relationship, there's truth to that.
And have you, as far as bringing that back to the business side of things, do you feel like that rings true with employees and the relationship between business owner and workers, or is that kind of a little bit different because it's
I want to say yes, right, but I want to also say you have to be very careful
okay?
when it comes to employees and and you and creating a bond where it's a friendship or looking at it in the same aspect as that. I think you have to be very careful because at the end of the day, you're still the boss or you're still the company owner, you know, and uh, and we're all out for ourselves sometimes. So even though you may be there to for whatever situation it is for that person, that person might still be out for self, and it's gonna hurt you if you if you look at it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Hmm.
makes sense. Was there anything that happened in your business that was just a complete curveball, something that you completely didn't expect that happened ever? I mean, I shouldn't even say that
Yeah.
because of course that happens, but can you give us an example of something that just came out of nowhere and blindsided you and then how you pivoted or adjusted
Yeah.
to it?
Um. Yeah. So recently, I just lost my contract.
Okay.
Right. I just lost my contract. That I've been working for 10 years, and you know, my thing was always preparing for the day that it could potentially happen.
Okay.
You know, I always prepared for that moment. That way, if it did happen, it wasn't like a shock or it wasn't like the your world's ending. So um, for me, it was just preparing for that moment. We lost our contract, but we pivoted into something that I was already had my feet a little bit into. I was already doing a little bit of real estate here and there, and when we lost this contract, I said, okay, we're gonna go full force. We started our real estate company, and we just bought our first property uh, last week. So
That's exciting.
yeah,
On to the next.
on to the next.
So what is something that you feel like people misunderstand about you the most?
Man, it's a tough question. I don't even know how to answer that. Misunderstand. I'm not sure. Maybe I seem to be not very vocal with people that I don't know sometimes. I don't know why. I just, but uh, it's not because I, uh, you know, uh, don't like you or anything. You know, I just sit back a lot of the times and just
Just a chill guy.
just chill. I'm just a chill guy. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay. So you're not, it's not, have you ever had somebody say that you have like an RBF, like you're back there kind of mean mugging, but you're just,
I've had a lot of times where people were that you always get the man. I honestly thought you were an a-hole, but
Yeah.
now that I get to talk to you, like you're real, so I've gotten a lot of that, but I don't, once again, it's just I just uh if I don't know the room that I'm sitting in, and that's a con too, right? Uh it's uh it's hard for me to, I'm not so outspoken, it's hard for me to actually get in the room and mingle, I try and learn to be more talkative, but I really have to get to know the people most times
yeah, that's
before
good.
I actually open up,
That's a bit of a power in itself, though, because I'm the opposite. I immediately start talking about everything, and they're like, "Who is this guy? Shut him up!" But okay, so yeah, that makes sense. Tell me this: is there anything that's funny that, like, a favorite funny story that you have that you like to tell about yourself, or something that happened to you?
Favorite funny story, man. I can't think of anything at the moment off the top of my head. Um, Man, no, that's a tough one. I can't. I don't have an answer at the
Nothing
moment. I'm
offhand.
gonna have
That's
to
fine.
think about
That's fine.
that.
It's like one of those weird, like, people ask me, what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I erase those things from memory. I don't
Yeah,
really think
it's
about them.
like that mechanism
Yeah.
goes off in your brain where you just forget.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Same thing. So no pressure there. Tell me. So we talked about what you would tell your 20-year-old self if you could go back. Let's talk about a different entrepreneur. Let's say an entrepreneur. There's a young kid and he wants to start up a business. He wants to start up a business, lawn care company, whatever it is. Right. What's one piece of advice you could give to a young entrepreneur that wants to get into working for himself or herself?
I would definitely say to learn the business first. You know, like I said earlier, learn A through D. If your job requires A through D, then you learn every aspect of it. Uh, you know, get a job. Most people want to jump into the entrepreneurship, to the owning the business right away, but sometimes you start from the bottom. Go out there, get the job first, and then learn it, and then just start your own and be the best version of that you can be.
Okay. So when you say learn about the business, is that because business is risky to just kind of mitigate the risk of like jumping in blindly? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, so I think because it's like, for instance, I mean, I kind of jumped into real estate not knowing real estate, and even prior to me getting into it, I knew that I should learn it before I get into it, right? I think you want to just know everything, every aspect of what the job's going to require, right? So, my one of my friends told me this the other day as well. He said, and it really made me think about it's specifically this question. It's funny that you bring it up because he said, I was telling him how in American culture, uh, we're taught to like open our arms and just take over everything, right? Like A, B, C, D, like be like an octopus and just
Okay.
do everything,
Do it. Yeah.
right?
Do it all.
But he told me something interesting, which I relate to in my business, which was he said he's a friend from the other side of the world, but he lives here in Dallas, and he said his dad once told him that um, if you're chasing a rabbit, right, and you see another rabbit, if you're getting close to catch one, but then you decide I'm gonna catch both, one of them's eventually gonna get away, or they both get away, right? And for me, it was more of a sense of if you focus on the one thing that if you focus on one business rather than two, three, or four, and you learn everything about that one business, you might have more success, you know, with the one rather than one, two, three, and four. So, and for me, it was, I knew, like I said earlier, I knew everything about my business, right? I knew everything from what the employees needed to know to to the trucks that our employees were driving in. If an issue occurred with the trucks, if an issue occurred with the employees, you needed to know both sides. So, for an entrepreneur trying to get into something, that's why I say I think you would want to learn from the bottom to the top. Focus on that one thing. Focus on what it is that the objective of this business is, and then build from there. Don't just jump into it completely blind, not knowing what it is that you have to do, and try and grow it.
I love it. Let's say you had a $1 billion check, you have an unlimited budget, and you could start any business. Any business you wanted. Is there something, I know you talked about music being your passion, but is there any, if you could start any business in the world, anything you wanted, you had no budget, what would you do?
Man, I feel like there's two sides to that, because I would have a side of me that would want to build businesses that I could for sure, see a profit in. And then I also have a side that would want to build a record label, that I don't know if I'm going to be able to be successful in. But, I would say realistically, real estate for sure. I think,
Really?
I think real estate is something that I really want to put more time into. And if I had an unlimited amount of cash, I would probably do real estate.
Okay. Do you know something specific in real estate or
residential, nothing
just
specific, just a little bit of everything. Buy houses,
or would you build, or would you flip, or would you
a landlord, everything, landlord, flip, new home, new construction, the whole nine,
everything,
everything under that umbrella.
So, because trucking to real estate is very, very different.
It's
Has
very
real estate
different,
always been something you've that you've wanted to do, or what's making you pivot from
I think
trucking to?
Since I started my trucking business, real estate was something that I always had on my mind. And it's just because you always hear, right, that for one, you always hear that you can never go wrong with real estate, right? But even here, going back to our talk about Dallas, the first home that I was in, I mean, it cost $60,000. Now that home is worth, with no touch ups, maybe $200,000. If you put money into it, now it's worth more, right? But just to see how real estate appreciates just in my lifetime, it only makes sense. It seems like a smart decision, whether you're holding it, whether you're adding value to it, or whether you can help someone out by staying in this home. I mean, it all just makes sense. Like I said, just even from my experience, from the generation before us, it just seems to make sense.
Nice. Yeah, I don't really know anyone that's been in real estate long term and has really actually tried that's not made great money in it.
Yeah, so. And I haven't been in real estate, but just I've always been very into just economics. I didn't go to school for economics or but I do understand money, and I do understand appreciation, and it just makes sense. It just in life in general, my thing has always just been, if I look at life in general, if it appreciates, it makes sense when it comes to money.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. If it makes me more money, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Easy rule to live
That's
by.
It. What's so hard about that?
Okay, tell me this: Do you have an earliest childhood memory? What's the farthest
memory
back you can remember?
Man, there's a weird. So I want to say that I can remember when I was, but I don't know if it's like a real memory, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was a baby, I can't remember the year, maybe 1 or 2. I apparently almost drowned.
Oh,
Right, we used to live in these apartments, I have a memory of me crawling towards the water, and then being in water and being pulled out.
whoa.
But I don't know how real this memory is, or
So you don't know if it's your memory or if people told you what
yeah,
happened.
and I just created it in my mind, but
Mm.
I feel like I can recall that for some weird reason. Yeah.
Huh. Which was terrifying, probably.
As a baby, I don't think it was that terrifying.
Hey, you didn't even know what was going on.
It feels more like, I don't know. It felt very natural, very like there was no like it wasn't like a scary moment. Now, I don't think I got to the point where I was in there for that long. I might have been in there, I don't know. My sister recalls, and she says maybe, from what it sounds like, my sister's the one that pulled me out. 15 to 30 seconds maybe. But I don't remember it feeling like a scary moment. It just felt like, I don't know. It's the weirdest. I can't really describe it. It feels like a movie where you're just kind of laying back in water, looking up,
Wow.
and you see, I remember seeing bubbles in the sun, and then just being pulled out.
Dang. That sounds kind of, I mean, it sounds like it's nice that it wasn't scary, but that kind of sounds freaky. I think dying by drowning is like one of the freakiest deaths you could have.
Now, as an adult, right? As an adult, it's definitely a fear. And it's crazy. I was watching something the other day that said that as when we're in our early years of life is when you build and learn about fear. What it is that you fear, and what it is that you might fear down the line in your life. When you're a adolescent, apparently.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get asked the question. I mean, this is just one of those, what would you rather, kids play would you rather. There's always a, would you rather die by burning or drowning, And I don't know. I mean, I'd rather not die by either, to be honest. I'd rather go out kind of in my sleep or on accident or something, or skydive and forget the parachute, just kind of like end it all in a quick. But drowning's just, that does not sound fun.
It's definitely scary. But as a I don't know, as at that age, have you ever seen the videos where when they take these kids to learn how to swim?
Oh, I've seen those. It's like
babies.
They do it on purpose.
Yeah,
and they put them.
Maybe for me, it was just one of those things, as at that age. But yeah, as an adult, like I said, it's definitely it's a scary thought, right? But it might just be something natural about when you're at that age. Just like I said, those videos when they throw these babies in by one hand and they just float up,
Yeah, it almost, because it's like they're kicking, but it almost seems like, obviously a lot of that I'm sure is reflex, right? Because they might not even comprehend what is drowning, what is death at that age. So maybe that's why there's not as much fear attached, because they don't even know, like, I'm dying. They just, I'm in this water, I'm kicking my feet. Like, it's maybe not.
Trying to figure it out here.
Tell me this, the horror movies, I hate horror movies. I hate scary movies because I'm always like, bro, there's a noise coming from the closet. You're alone in the cabin in the woods. Don't go into the closet. So if you had to be in a horror movie, like a real horror movie, how would you survive? You have a favorite horror movie or anything like that?
Favorite horror movie? Not so much. I don't have a favorite horror movie. I like watching horror movies. I don't have a favorite per se. For some weird reason, I used to be really afraid of Leprechaun when I was a kid.
Oh, Leprechaun.
Which is not now when I
every kid has weird fears though.
Now when I watch the movie, it's not scary at all. Actually,
wait, what movie is this?
It's pretty comedic. It's a movie called Leprechaun.
Oh shit.
It's very comedic, bro. Like if you go back and watch it, it's hilarious. It's very funny. And as a matter of fact, like it had a lot of comedic pieces in the movie.
So it's a comedy or it's a horror movie?
I feel like it's somewhere borderline both.
When you're a kid, it's a horror movie.
Yeah, as a child, I was afraid of it. And I don't know if it was because it was like my height or what it was, but I was terrified. I used to have dreams about this thing. But I don't know how I would survive that, man.
Oh, really? That's crazy. But I mean, you heard of like people are scared of clowns, people are scared of the
Yeah,
boogeyman, werewolves.
yeah.
I've never heard leprechauns. That is really. But I
It's
guess when you're a kid,
you
it's
have
like
to watch this movie, man. It's
oh
funny.
shoot,
It's
is it
hilarious.
old? Like
They
black
even
and white old or what?
it's a '90s movie.
Okay.
'90s and '80s. Maybe it started in the
Dang.
'80s,
Bro,
and
that
then
is
up into the
now
'90s.
you're talking about it. That kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. You're thinking
It's
of a
super funny. They even made a Leprechaun in the Hood version. It's hilarious. Bro. I watched it.
This isn't in Ireland. It's got to be set up in like Compton or something.
It's here. Yeah. Or the Leprechaun in the Hood. It was like New York, maybe, or LA or something. I can't remember.
That's funny. What the heck?
Super funny, but I was terrified of it.
Yeah, you're not surviving the demon leprechaun.
Yeah,
That's
apparently
crazy.
you couldn't unless you gave him back his gold.
You have no gold to get. You're taking off all your jewelry, just whatever you want, bro. I've never even heard of that. That's actually really funny. What? Okay, here's a funny question. Then, if you're let's say you're a superhero. Then let's take it the other direction. Let's say you're a superhero, and you can have any power, but your power is completely useless. What would your power be?
Completely useless.
Yeah. What would your superpower be?
This is me just being single.
Yeah, this is me just getting
not having a girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
But my superpower would be to have the power to reel in all the women.
There you go. There you go. That's a natural
bring
male
them in.
superpower.
Has there's no positive effect to this, but
it's a useless power, but it's one that you would have. Yeah, that's valid.
Why not?
That is valid. I think about that. I don't know what show it is. Somebody watching this or hearing this is going to remember the show, but there's some show that I saw with, you know how you see like X-Men and like Teen Titans and all these shows when you're younger. There was some show where somebody could turn into like a puddle of water on demand or something.
A puddle of water.
And I was like, well, what the fuck? Like, you could fly, you could turn invisible. A puddle of water. Like, what is the point of that? And of course, in the movie, they can like go in water and like sneak under the doorways and stuff like that. But in my head as a kid, I was like, that's got to be the stupidest superpower of all time. Like, you can turn into a puddle of water and then turn back into a human. It looks so stupid to me, but I don't know, whatever. I always thought about that superpower and I was like, dang, if a genie came out and that's what I got, like that's almost like
terrible, huh?
That's a terrible.
Mine wouldn't be that terrible, but it really have
water. Like, what if you get drank by accident, or what if like what if it rains and you just get washed down the drain with all the rest of the? I don't know. Anyways, okay, so let me ask you this then: if anybody that you know that's either alive now or they passed on could be a ghost.
Could be a ghost.
And that ghost followed you around for the rest of your life. Who would you want to be the ghost that followed you everywhere and saw everything you did?
Wow. Man. I'm trying to think of who it could be. That's tough because, it could be a ghost. It could be somebody that was wise. It could be somebody that's unwise. It could be somebody that was in business. That's a hard one. He has to be. It's someone that's dead now, right?
No, they could be alive now, but you just want them to be a ghost and follow you around forever. Not that you want them to, but if you had to pick someone, someone's going to follow you around for the rest of your life as a floating ghost back there, invisible. Who would you want to follow you?
Man, I want to go ahead and just say my father. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That gets into a whole spiritual side of things, but some people could believe that, maybe your ancestors, maybe grandmother passed away and she could still see you. I don't know.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm going to have to say my father. My father gave me a lot of wisdom. Not 95% of his advice was advice that I should have took. So I'm going to say my father.
That's good advice. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in like spirits can see you and follow you around and stuff? Talking about horror movies, leprechauns.
I think there is definitely something, there's a realm out here that we just don't understand. I've never personally seen ghosts.
I think you're not supposed to see them, I think.
I have at one point experienced for the first time ever a few years ago, just, some things that you couldn't explain. We went out to Florida, and on the way back, we're just like, hey, why don't we just stop in New Orleans? So we stopped in New Orleans just for a day. We stayed in the French Quarter, which is like the older area of New Orleans. And the place we stayed at was either haunted or
Oh,
it was old. I don't know, but we experienced doors opening.
hey, this
Uh,
is a hotel or like
it
an
was an
Airbnb?
Airbnb.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell,
doors
don't
would
know about that.
open. The doors were locked by themselves. Uh,
You're just trying to open the bathroom, it's locked.
yeah, or even weirder, you were in your room and you didn't lock your door, and then the door was locked.
Yeah, that's something going on.
The I believe the shower turned on.
Nope, I'm
Or
out.
no, the shower
I'm
didn't
out.
turn
I
on.
don't even care. Keep
The
the money.
shower went from just normal to like it was like when they opened the door, they ran out because it was so hot in there. It was just steaming. The whole thing was steaming.
What? Nah.
It was and yeah, you know, just things like that. So that was definitely the weirdest thing I've ever experienced.
That's haunted something.
You know, but I've never seen a ghost. Like I said, I do believe in you know, a different realm that sits here that we just don't see, we can't really experience fully, you know, but I don't know.
Yeah, there was I remember there was a time where I went on a blitz knocking door to door selling solar. We went to somewhere in West Texas on a blitz, and my buddy and I, we were, I think, I don't remember where we were, but there was a place where it was a city. It was big enough. Maybe it was like a San Angelo or something where y'all can look this up. It's like maybe, I don't know, maybe like 100,000 people. So it's not like a tiny little town, but it's not like a big
Yeah, I
city
know. I
either.
think I've been to San Angelo.
And there's
before,
like
actually.
enough buildings where like the downtown maybe has like one or two buildings that are over 10 stories, you know, but it's definitely not like a skyscrapers or anything like that.
Yeah.
We go downtown, we get this Airbnb, and I think we were driving back across the country or something. So we stay in this place, and it looked like a normal house on the Airbnb. But when we got there, it was the middle of this downtown. So these tall buildings and banks and stuff around there. And then this one little house, like, you know how in the movie Up, how there's these big buildings and there's just like this old house in the middle of the city. It's like, what is this house? There was this house. And we were like, wait, this is kind of weird. We pull up at night. And don't even like, I don't even know the ghosts and all that, if I believe it, but like we pull up and immediately you felt like something was weird. Like you felt you're being watched. I'm looking, there's no cameras anywhere. We go in there, the closets, like there was something eerie about this place that just, I don't know if it looked weird, smelled weird. Something happened in this building. I don't know if someone died in there, but the guy I was staying with, it was Jake.
Okay.
And we felt something weird, and I was like, bro, there's something in this house. And he started like, he started freaking out. He's like, I'm gonna call my mom. I got to FaceTime. What if we try and call somebody? And there's like, we FaceTime and there's someone behind us. We didn't even sleep there. We just like got through at 2 a.m. We just like kept driving.
Really?
We were like, we're just gonna drive until we like find another town or something like that. Didn't even stay in it. And we luckily no showers were turning on by themselves or anything like that. But I definitely believe that there is we have 5 senses, maybe 6. There's stuff that our sensory organs can't detect. There's another element or dimension or level of stuff that's there, spiritual, whatever, however you want to call it, that we can't really detect, and stuff that happens that's not explainable.
And that's what I'm saying, right? That realm, that call it, I don't know, realm, dimension, whatever it is, that you just it's unexplainable. No one's able to explain it. We don't know what it is. Like I said, for ghosts specifically, I haven't seen it, but I know exactly where you're talking about. Even I have plenty of friends that just, I would call it like intuition, or I don't know what it is, but they step into a room and they feel that. Like our friend John, when we went to a restaurant in Frisco, I believe you've been to that restaurant, right? The restaurant in Frisco that sits in that corner.
I don't remember.
Where like our friends hang out at sometimes. Well, when we walked into the restaurant, the first thing that John said, and John seems to have this intuition, right? He said the same thing. This feels weird in here. Something happened in here, and he's looking around. It's like an old house that they turned into this like restaurant, nice little restaurant. Can't think of the name right now. And he's like, somebody died in here.
No way.
Yeah, he's like, somebody died in here. It feels really weird. He's like, I don't feel that. I know. So we walk in and we sit down, and then John's loud. He's like, this must have been an old, there must have been somebody that died in here or something. And then it turns out that it was an old doctor's office,
bro,
and that the doctor killed some patients or something in that place. So I was like, wow.
You found that out by like Googling it or something?
No,
like that?
the people there told us.
Oh, they told you?
Yeah, when John was talking about how he felt there's something spooky in
I
here.
know that. I know exactly what you're talking about now. I remember. I don't know the place, but I've been there, bro. That makes perfect sense now that you say that. It is like an old house,
kind of old house that they made into a restaurant.
Yeah, that did. You know what? Twice I've been invited there. Twice I've gone in. I've said hi to everybody, bye to everybody. I got other things to do, and I've left. I've never eaten there, and every time, both times I went in, if something was kind of weird.
Really?
I was like, oh, this is kind of.
And they say so. They were telling us stories that occasionally they see shadows and things happen in the kitchen.
No way I'm eating in there. This, bro, a fork just comes off and just falls. Nah. Knives just start chopping. No. Yeah. You know, just because you reminded me of that, what we found out later about that Airbnb I just told you about was it used to be a dental office that was converted into a home because we saw a wall that just had like a window that was like 3 or 4 feet off the ground, like a window cutout. And we're like in the middle of a house, this wall just has a window in it. Like it's inside. And we found out that's where the secretary would sit behind and like tell the next person up for the appointment to come up to the desk, you know? But we found that out after the fact. We were like, no, we messaged the people on Airbnb. We're like, something ain't right. We're out of here. And they're like, it used to be a dental office. By then we were 50 miles down the road. And we're like, who knows? Maybe he used to let, I don't know, dentist. Bro, that's a crazy story. Yeah. Doctor's office that used to
something, and he killed a few patients in there
on purpose, or you don't know if it was
purposely though. Yeah.
What? Not as bad as that one doctor that would purposefully get girls pregnant. You heard about that one doctor? I don't know. I'm not even
too many weird stories nowadays.
I'm not even gonna pretend to remember where this was. If it was like a thing in the U.S. or South America or wherever it was, but there was some maybe even in Europe, some doctor that like girls would come in to get checkups. I think he was a gynecologist or something like that. And he would somehow implant his own seed into them so that these girls all would get pregnant by him. Do you know, have you ever heard the story?
Kids or something?
Yeah, he had like 50 kids or something like that. And then of course, eventually they found out that, wait, all these kids are looking the same. And they all went to the same doctor. It was crazy, but it was like a real thing. Did you ever hear about that?
I might have, but there's been so many stories like that I just too many.
That's shady.
A lot of weird stuff.
Sketchy. Okay, so here's one of my last questions for you. So this is just we're getting to know more of who is Julio as a person now. I'm asking you all these crazy questions to throw you off target.
Throw me off a little bit.
Aliens. Let's say aliens come to Earth and they're only allowed to visit one person and it's you, and they've never been to Earth before, and they got to judge all of humanity and Earth based on you, and they got like 5 minutes to meet you. Wow. What would you tell them? How would you present yourself? What would you show to these aliens to show them what Earth is like? Remember, they've never met anyone, and you're the only representation of what is humanity, what is Earth.
I would.
I know some friends that would just like flip them off and laugh. You know, some people would try and present them to them all these like, here's the trees and the birds and the. What would you do?
I would sit them down, and we would watch the older version of E.T.
Oh, okay.
So that they get an understanding of how we are, but how we can be.
Okay.
And phone home. We send you back if you want.
There you go. Okay, we come in peace.
We come in peace.
Phone
some
home
of us.
And
there's some of us that might not like you. Some of us that will treat you with respect, and some of us out here still have a heart, and some of us don't. So
that's true. That's actually a great answer. Wow. I know. Yeah. And it's a good movie. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I love that movie. That movie pulls on your heartstrings, bro. Yeah. I remember that when it came out when we were young, and I remember seeing that being like, not E.T., not E.T.
Did they make a new version? They made a new version.
I'm sure they had to. They're remaking all the movies nowadays.
That's why I said the 90s version, but
I'm sure they remake all those old Disney movies, and they've made like a 2 and a 3, like Lion King. They got like 5 Lion Kings. Yeah, now they're making more new Lion Kings and Mufasas and whatever. Yeah, but that actually is a great answer because I never thought of that. I mean, why not show an alien movie? Like that's a great answer. Like,
just don't show them Alien, because
that's true.
You've ever seen Alien?
The Alien movie itself? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't always turn out good for the aliens.
Yeah, you're right. You're like, look, this is a good movie. Watch E.T. Just know that I'm like the little kid on the bike. You can trust me.
Exactly. That's me.
Yeah,
that's not me right there.
That's funny. That's actually a great answer. I was thinking you were gonna. I didn't know what you were gonna say, but that's a great answer. You could be showing them Alien. You could show them the Iron Giant. There's all kinds of Interstellar, whatever. Yep. Okay, so tell me this. What is the thing that you want your legacy to be as far as remembrance goes? If you you know, we all die one day, you have a funeral, you have a tombstone, and it only gets to write a small phrase about the life of Julio Lucio. It gets to just kind of summarize who you are. What is the legacy, or what is the memory you want to leave behind when life is all said and done?
Man. That's a hard one. I didn't think you would ask something so deep.
I know, bro. I'm pivoting. I'm switching it up on you quick to keep you on your toes a little bit.
You know, it's I don't know. I don't think you could fit it on my tombstone, honestly. Um, I don't have a word for it, so you might just have to, if I had the perfect tombstone, it would be a digital tombstone where you could put like your favorite song in there.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Okay. That's
And
cool.
so whenever
Actually,
you go up to it, you push play on it, and
That's
then
your favorite song?
there's a Spanish song that
I
we
thought it was
all
gonna be you rapping. Okay.
that we
What
listen
would it be?
to, and it talks about death, right?
Okay.
And apparently, a lot of Spanish songs are very, uh, they sound happy, but but the song just says, "The day that I die, uh, you know, there's you don't take anything with you, so you know you're gonna live it as best as you can when you're here." So I guess if I had the perfect tombstone, it'd be something digital where I can put that song in anytime you come and you hit play on that thing,
That's
and
a
you
great
just
idea.
chill there and listen to,
That's crazy. I
listen
never
to
even
that
thought about
song.
that. Wow. Okay. So you let the song speak for you,
Let the
kind of
song
thing.
speak for itself. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I've never thought about that, but in 2025,
Why
why
not,
couldn't you
right?
do that?
That might be
Maybe
the
get a
next
little
move.
QR code on your
That
tombstone.
might be the next thing. Digital tombstones right
This-
here. We just invented it.
Okay, so that's kind of the message you want to leave behind is like you can't take it with you, so like appreciate it while you have it, kind of
Appreciate it
thing.
while you have it here. Yeah.
Wow. Have you I don't know if you have like a hero or anybody you look up to, but one of my biggest heroes is Alexander the Great. I'm like kind of like a history nerd when it comes to studying that stuff. And Alexander the Great, when he died, before he died, he requested three things. And I mean, we're talking about the dude I'm 32, you said 33. This guy had conquered the entire known world at the time, basically, by the time he was like our age, right? So one of the most successful, one of the most powerful conquerors of all time. And he said three things. He said, when I die, I want a group of doctors to carry my casket. I want one of my hands to be hanging out of the casket. And I want the whole road behind me as they're carrying my casket down the road. I want the whole road behind me to be littered with all gold and riches and jewels and everything. And they said, why is that like your last wish? And he said, I want doctors to carry me so that people understand that no matter how great you are in life, no doctor in the world can save you from death. One day you're going to die. Number two, I want the hand to be hanging out so that it can show people that no matter how rich you are, no matter how big you grow, you started with dust, you're going to go out with empty hands as well. You can't take it with you. And number three, all the gold in the world is not going to save you from death. And when you leave, you can't take it with same exact thing, right?
And that's kind of what the song is about. Yeah, the song is very, the concept is the same thing. The words are the same thing. And you know what? If we can't put a word to it, you just made me remember the phrase. And the phrase is memento mori. Yeah. That's what I would put on my casket or on my tombstone.
Remember that we all die. So what does that tell me how that helps you live today, knowing that one day you can't take it with you, that eventually they're going to push stop on your life video.
I mean, I think it really does just make you like I said, for me it's memories, right? So let's just try and make the best memories while we're here. Try to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And try and leave that legacy,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thanks so much, Julio. Is there any place that you want to drop any like tags or anyone can find you or follow you, or you like to keep things pretty private?
No, I mean, I would just say, like I said, I did make music at one day, and that's still, at one time in my life, and that still exists out there. But it's all under my name, just look me up, Julio Lucio. There's music out there. Apparently, it still gets played.
Is it like on
somewhere.
SoundCloud or is it
It's
on like Apple?
iTunes, Spotify,
Okay, cool.
everything. It's
Cool.
everywhere you can find it. And you never know if you're in the Dallas area and you know somebody that wants to sell a home and they want cash. You know, I might be the person.
He's
that
in
you
the
can,
game.
Yeah.
Julio's in the game. Cool.
Yeah,
We'll put
context.
some of those links maybe in the
Cool.
like in the YouTube video or whatever. So thanks so much, everybody. The legend Julio, and we'll wrap it up with that.
All right.
So thank you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.